Okay, so Konstakang has released another version of Android, and this time for the Pi 400, because previous versions didn't work. I did get one of his versions to work before, but the audio wouldn't work. So I'm going to put it on this SSD drive and give it a try on that. I'm running it, the operating system, from an SD card with my extender there. So let's call up the browser and type in Konstakang Pi 4. Click on that. So here we've got Android 10. I'm not doing the Android TV one, I prefer the non-Android TV version. So here's my build of Lineage OS for Raspberry Pi 4 and 400, and this is recent, so 20th of November, so that's only 3 days ago. So let's click on that link to download and click here to start downloading. Let's go for a closer to home one. So 471 megabytes. I'm going to go back to that page while that's downloading. So here's a section for how to boot from USB. Warning, this is still an experimental feature, especially TWRP seems to have some issues with USB boot. Okay, so that's downloaded in my downloads folder. So let's go to Start, Accessories and Imager. Choose OS, use Custom, and click on the one that I've just downloaded and open. Choose SD card, well mine is an SSD drive, so I'll click on that and hit right and yes. Shouldn't take very long this. Pop your password in. If you haven't changed it, it will be Raspberry. And the verifying goes nice and fast as well because it's on an SSD, even though it is a very cheap SSD and an inexpensive cable as well. The CSL cable that I use is very compatible with the Pi 4 and the 400. Okay, so that's all done. hit continue and we can close that down. And let's just minimize that to keep it a bit tidier. I'm just going to check it with gparted to see if I need to expand the partition. Some operating systems on Raspberry Pi 4 and 400 you need to expand the partition. Oh, this is fine. So this is using all the available space on the SSD drive. So I've got that next step for how to boot from a USB device. Go into the folders and so we've got boot here, which must be, it's got an eject symbol, so this must be the one for Android. And go into config.txt and we need to change that one line, so DT overlay Android SD card. So we need to put a hash in here, and for some reason my keyboard's on the wrong layout because I have to use Shift and 3 to get it, whereas normally it's just above the Shift key, the right Shift key. So let's delete the Android USB one and then save that. And that should be it. What I need to do now is shut this down, remove the SD card and then boot it from the SSD drive. And that looks like it's booting up nicely without me having to do anything else. United Kingdom and next. Okay, so we're up and running. So if I left click at the bottom of the screen and pull up, I get the apps. I'm just going to check the browser because the previous version I had, the audio wasn't working on the Pi 400. So let's see if this works. Yep, that's working fine with the audio, so that's great to know. What I need to do now is get Google Apps on there. Okay, so let's look for Konstakang's page because I've got to download Google Apps. Web browser's working better. I had weird issues with search before, so that's a nice thing that's updated. Adverts on Google. So if you keep scrolling down, there is a how to install Google Apps. I don't know if I need to do some of these earlier steps. Some people said that I didn't have to on a comment on one of my older videos. So let's click on that and click download and allow. Download. Is it happening? Oh yeah, so it is happening here. Look. You can left click and drag down to get this up if you wanted to check the progress of something. Okay, so that's downloaded now. So let's go to home. Let's drag up from the bottom and go to files. You can see my download is here. I need to drag that to the root of the Pi, which is here, just because it's easier when you get into the recovery mode. So I need to go to home and slide up again, go to settings, go all the way down to the bottom and click about tablet. Start clicking on build number until it gives you developer settings. Oh, there you go, you can see it's there. Go back and then system, advanced, and scroll down to developer options. Go down to root access and turn that on. And OK. Scroll down a bit more and turn on Android debugging, and OK. Scroll down to rooted debugging and turn that on. And go down a bit more to local terminal and turn that on. Then click on home, slide up from the bottom and click on terminal and allow, and type in su return and rpi4-recovery.sh and hit return. And if you scroll down, if you can't see any terminal, now we can type in reboot. So now we're in recovery, so swipe to allow modifications, click install, click Google Apps and swipe to confirm. Okay, so when that finishes we can click on wipe Dalvik and swipe to wipe. And then go back and back and back and click on wipe and swipe to factory reset and back and back. Click on mount, click on boot and system. Now we're going to go back and reboot and click on system and we're in. There might be a different way of doing this, but I use one of my old videos and what was written on the Konstakang page, and it looks to be working as long as Google Apps are here when it starts up. Okay, so I'm going to say don't copy, and we've got Google now, so we can sign into our account, agree to the terms and conditions, accept everything there. I'm not going to do a PIN for now. And there's the Google Play Store that's shown up now, so that successfully seems to have added. Oh, and it boots up nice and fast as well. So what's the Xbox app? Oh, so I'll try and connect to my Xbox with the Xbox app. Let's see, it's a beta version, but let's give that a try. And what else can I put on there as well? The thing about running Android on a Raspberry Pi 4 or 400 is the video performance is very good. It's very compatible with a lot of the premium apps, so things like Netflix and Amazon Prime I think still work. I haven't tried them for a while, but they always were very good. Music streaming is very good. It is a really good complete operating system on the Pi, because obviously the Pi runs on an ARM processor, Android runs on ARM, and they're a good match. So it's nice to have these options. So let's go back. One of the best games, and I did a video on this, Real Racing 4, I think it was, just runs surprisingly well on this, and it is a great game. So I'll install that as well and come back in a minute when it's all ready to go. Oh, there's the Xbox beta already. So if I go and turn on my Xbox, wireless Xbox 360 controller, and I've got a link in the description to this, switch that on. So there's a little dongle, it's this basically that's going into the USB. It's looking pretty packed in there now, look, with my mouse. I don't need to use the mouse one because this mouse also works with Bluetooth, but because I switch operating systems so much, it's just easy with the dongle. Ethernet connection, what's that one? That's my SSD drive. Then I've got USB-C, HDMI, and this is my card reader. So let's switch back into screen capture and see if this works. Okay, so if I move the controller around, I'm using the Xbox controller to move this around now. So if I select the Xbox app, okay, so I'm into the app. So let's go down to Let's Go. Okay, so here's my console. It looks like it's connected already. Click on that and Xbox Remote Play on this device. Okay, so you can see my Xbox now, and I can move around. What's something I can get into quickly? I suppose a bit of motocross will be alright. And Stadia worked very well on this as well, so I don't doubt that the streaming services on this are going to be possibly the best way of streaming on the Pi. For some reason Android seems to work better than Linux on most things, although that said Steam Link works very well on Raspberry Pi OS and various other systems. Let's give it a go and see if there's much lag when I'm actually racing. I always seem to get a terrible start. Oh yeah, it feels absolutely fine. Doesn't look particularly sharp considering this is an Xbox Series S, but maybe it's doing that because it detects the network and how well it's going to work. But yeah, that actually feels like I'm playing it on the console, just a bit softer. Come on, get back on. I think this is a tenner on Xbox Live at the moment as well, so it's quite a reasonable price. Yeah, so very good. So let's drag up from the bottom, here we go, and press the home button. There you go, so that takes me out of it. Okay, so I've just been playing Real Racing 3, and it could do with a bit more speed, so I think I'm going to try an overclock. So let's press Function and F10 to give us a shutdown option. And then click Power Off. Okay, so I've started it up, but with the SD card back in the slot. So this is now running Raspberry Pi OS. So we need to go into that boot folder, and we need to go to config.txt. And I've put this extra in. So force turbo equals 1, over voltage I've changed to 8, and arm frequency I've changed to 2200. So let's save that. And then I need to shut down and reboot with just the Android SSD in it. So I'll take out this SD card. Okay, so I've been playing YouTube for a long time now, probably about an hour and a half at 1080, and it's been absolutely fine. If I go into Ada 64, the temperature goes up to about 50 degrees maximum, I would say, and even with gaming it still hasn't gone anything beyond that, which is perfectly acceptable. So if I put a bit of a video on just to show you what it plays like. So you can see it looks pretty smooth at 1080, it doesn't seem to judder, really impressed with the performance with that. I also tried Amazon Prime Video, and it works very well on that as well. So if I click on something that's pretty safe. So it could be sharper, but I think it's reasonable. I guess because it's a mobile app, maybe it doesn't give you like a full 1080 or something like that, but it still looks pretty good, and it's nice and smooth. And the last thing, the reason I overclocked was Real Racing. So let's, I wonder if I can quit and restart that. So we'll just do a quick time trial and see that, and just show you how smooth it is. And I haven't had any stuttering on the sound or anything like that. Everything has been really impressive. Here you go, now I'm in control. So I hope all this helps. I think Android is a great addition to the Pi 400, and especially now that it's SSD as well, that is really impressive. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.